Are your kitchen and bathroom remodels a little overdue? Well, now's your chance to call First Response Contracting. John Sellers will take care of you. 484-256-7136. They do residential and commercial, and they're licensed and insured. Give them a call at 484-256-7136.
From real estate to real life and everything in between, The Brad Weisman Show. And now, your host, Brad Weisman.
All right. This is going to be a fun show. I'm really looking forward to this, Hugo. I have to tell you, it's going to be a good one.
Yeah?
Yeah, the guy traveled really far to get here, too. Like an hour, at least an hour.
I'm happy about that. It's always good to.
There's probably some kind of jet lag involved. I'm not sure. I don't know how that works out. We have a guy here who has been all over the place. He's been in real estate. Actually, he started as a history teacher. He is now a coach for business, for life, but he has a whole past of real estate. He was with Keller Williams at one point, went to Compass, and I'm just excited to have him here. His name is Skye Michiels. The sky's the limit, right? Is that one of the things you use for real estate?
I do not. I actually thought about it in the beginning, but every
too
time
hokey.
I hear it, it's hokey.
Yeah, it's too hokey.
So yeah.
It's like a dad joke.
Yeah.
You know what those are like.
Yeah, of course.
Dad jokes. Yeah, we all have those. So welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Brad. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, and what's funny is it's interesting how you can do all this studying online about somebody.
Yep.
And I've seen you on Instagram. We've crossed paths in different areas.
For sure.
And your name has come up, and then I saw you, I think, with David Krieger. You were on with David. And David I've known for a long time, back in my other Coldwell Banker days.
I was former Coldwell.
Oh, were you really?
Yeah. David was one of my first managers.
That's so fun. Yeah, so he's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
Great guy. Very knowledgeable, great guy. Yep. So that was the first time I saw your name. And then it just kept coming up.
Yeah.
So you're doing, let's talk about what you're doing now, and then we'll go backwards. So what are you doing right now?
Well, so 2 months ago, February 29th, 2020 leap year, I made a leap.
All right, good.
And I left my role as a head of coaching for nationally for Compass Real Estate.
Wow.
And I formed my own coaching company. And that coaching company is called With Heart Coaching.
Yeah.
Basically, we are focusing on actually helping people, not just with real estate or business, but actually with their life.
Yeah.
My experience with coaching is that a lot of coaches are similar, like, drug companies. Like, hey, I'm going to tell you to call 100 people. And if you do it, you're going to be okay. If you don't do it, you're sick. Yeah. Like a drug company, like, hey, you have high blood pressure. Here's a medication. Like, if you take it, you're good. If you don't take it, you're going to die. Yeah. And I think a big miss in coaching companies is we actually don't address the person. Yeah. And the human. And most realtors actually know what to do. Right. Yeah. Like the vast majority of realtors, if you were to quiz them, they're like, oh yeah, I should reach out to my sphere. I should do an open house. I should do this. But then they're so messed up in their personal lives or their financial lives, or when you use that word health and wellness, right? Yep. Most of them are not there. Yeah. So if we address some of those things, it actually opens them up to do the things they actually know how to do.
Yeah, it's so true. And the more books I read about different things, about business, and we're kind of going back to the roots of who we are as humans. Right. As much as we get automated and technical on things, I think it also is making us look back and go, okay, we're also human beings. We're not just technology. We're not just the realtor. We're not just the husband or the father. Right. There's a lot to it. And I think the more you develop yourself, that's right, everything you do will be better.
That's right. Right. Well, Brad, and think of this, as technology continues to grow, as all the NAR settlement. Yeah. When you think about, if we as realtors are competing against third-party internet aggregators or other companies that are providing the consumer with information, with all this stuff like that, well, what do we have as realtors as a competitive edge? Yeah. It's actually caring. Yeah. For the first time in maybe the history of real estate, caring is a competitive edge.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't that amazing? And
that's sad, actually.
It's a little sad.
It's a little sad.
But at the end of the day, as realtors, we can actually lean into that. But to do that, we actually have to care about ourselves first.
Absolutely.
If we don't care about ourselves, we can't take care of other people at a high level. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get into this mindset that all I'm going to do is people please. Yeah. And I'm a recovering people pleaser, by the way. Hi, my name is Skye. I'm a people pleaser. And
hi, Skye.
Where are the donuts now?
The coffee.
But all joking aside, the reality for most people that are good at real estate is they are very good at helping other people. And in that process, they often forget about the number one person that they need to help, which is themselves. Yeah. So a lot of the With Heart coaching philosophy goes back to three things: is we focus on how you become happier, how you become healthier, and how do you lean into the human side of business.
Wow.
Right. And there's a lot of companies out there that are going to teach you how to cold call and how to do expireds and FSBOs. And that's not really our jam, so to speak.
Which I like.
Yeah.
Because there's a gazillion of those.
Yeah.
There's a ton of those.
Tons.
And like you said, and that's all about just that's accountability on numbers.
Totally.
That's accountability on numbers. And, Michelle McCartney was just on here. I don't know if you know her. You should get to know her. She has a course called Beyond the Script.
Yeah.
Because we always talk about scripts.
Yeah.
In sales, we talk about scripts and things like that. Michelle is all about what you're saying. She talks about turning handshakes into hugs. So at settlement, instead of you saying goodbye to somebody, by the time you get to settlement, you should have you should have a relationship there that deserves and is right for a hug as opposed to a handshake, right?
Right.
Isn't that cool?
And let's go beyond that too, Brad. We need to the future of real estate goes back to us. Actually, the day of settlement that's the beginning of our relationship.
Absolutely.
And a course we are launching is going to be called the Forever Real Estate Client.
Excellent.
And our goal is basically, buying and selling real estate is just a small thing of what I do for you as a client. And once you're my client, it's not this like hokey, you're a client for life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to send you a pie on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
That's not treating someone like a client.
I do like the pies though.
Pies are good.
Pies are good. Let's just get that out
Of
right
course,
away.
of course.
Yeah.
Apple. Yeah.
Pumpkin actually for me.
Okay.
Just in case you're wondering.
Making notes. But at the end of the day, we need to actually treat people like clients no matter what they're doing. And you think of a high-end financial advisor. That person, they're not on Instagram or TikTok or sending out mailers. What are they doing? They're taking care of their clients all day, every day. Those clients, then what do? They take care of their financial advisor.
Absolutely.
So as realtors, let's adopt this mindset that we are high-end financial advisors, which we are. And let's actually start acting like it.
Yeah.
Let's actually act like it, and let's elevate what we do to provide value to people beyond the transaction.
But we're not embodying it anymore. No. That's the thing that's happened. And I remember growing up, my parents had one realtor.
Yeah.
She's not around anymore, which stinks. But what's actually good for me in a way, because I'm their realtor now. But she was amazing. She became best friends with my parents. They leaned on her for everything that had to do with real estate, whether it be property tax questions or homeowners insurance questions or how do we get the roof fixed? You know what I mean?
Totally.
She totally was their go-to.
Yeah.
And today you don't see those relationships as much. And I think it's not good because we have a lot of knowledge to share. Exactly. We can help people from not just settlement, the whole time.
That's right.
Yeah, because a house needs things always.
Yeah. And the key thing for the realtors listening right now is you need to challenge yourself to find non-Googleable information.
Interesting.
At the end of the day, if the consumer can Google it, it's not of value for them.
Absolutely.
Right. So I can maybe Google top plumbers in, Wyoming, right? But at the end of the day, I don't really know these people, and they could be manipulating the surveys.
And that's very true. They can.
Exactly.
You can definitely
pay more money,
that.
you get higher, et cetera.
Yep, absolutely.
But if I call my realtor, who is once again, I'm their client, and I say, hey, who do you recommend? They're recommending me something because they want that person to take care of me at the level they took care of me.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, this mindset we need to adopt. What can I provide people that is not on Google?
Yeah.
Because people will pay for that.
Oh, yeah.
People value that.
Absolutely.
But if I can just take my phone out and type something in and find it, it's not really valuable.
Yeah. Referrals are everything. Any kind of a referral, and one step further, when you do give that information, what I do is if they ask me that question, I said, you know what, text me what you're looking for. So if I'm in my car, so I don't forget, I will get them the number or the cell phone number of the person that they're looking for. Yep. I'm not going to just tell them the name so they can look it up. I'm going to do one step further. I'm going to give them information and say, hey, by the way, make sure you mention my name so that they know that I'm giving them referrals.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's changing. We're going back to some basics, I think.
I think it's a good thing.
It's a really good thing. Yeah. It's a personal touch. So now you have, it's called With Heart Coaching. Where did you come up with that name?
Great question.
Did you have that name, or was it something you...
It's a good question. So my real estate team, I sold real estate. I got my license in 2002. I was a high school history teacher. Yep. And I needed a little extra income. So I got my real estate license. When I started my team, which was in 2013, it was called Real Estate with Heart.
Oh, Oh,
So
okay.
what I did is I basically dropped the real estate side of it.
Yeah.
Used the with heart because of the fact that this company is not just about real estate.
Gotcha.
Right. Yes. We have specific real estate programs.
Yeah.
But the reality is relationship-based selling is you could use that with mortgage people,
Anything.
title,
Anything.
insurance,
Yep.
lawyers,
Yep.
you name it.
Anything. Yep.
Anyone that deals with relationship-based selling. Did you know most loan originators don't have a CRM?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
That's amazing.
Let's be real. Most realtors don't have a CRM.
And let's be real. So up until Keller Williams, I didn't have a CRM.
Yeah, exactly.
I can tell you one thing. I bought Top Producer like 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
I spent all this money, never used it.
Exactly.
But what's funny is you're right.
Yeah.
And when we're saying CRM, just so that the people know, it's a contact relationships. The other was retention.
Yeah. No,
See, I'm learning something new.
Yeah. And so we need to use it to
absolutely.
build relationships.
Well, we call it our database.
Exactly.
But you have to cultivate that database.
You do.
Yeah.
You got to create relationships.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's so that's where With Heart Coaching came from.
Correct.
Let's talk about the breakaway from real estate into this coaching. That has to be scary.
Oh, man. Well, it's really scary to go from I was an employee at Compass. I was the head of coaching.
Yeah.
So
traveling
around the country is an incredible position, and I love the company.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm an entrepreneur at heart.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I was so excited to launch the company. And the fear in the beginning was not there. And it was probably after that first week of excitement.
Was it the first time you didn't get a paycheck?
No, because first time in about 6 years. So this
is real. This is real. Yeah.
Okay.
That is funny.
Yeah. So that fear is something that, you lean into it. And I always ask myself, what's the worst case? What's the worst case?
Yeah, you're exactly right.
All right. I jump off this cliff, and the worst case scenarios, I'm a little embarrassed that the company didn't work out.
Yep.
I can go back to selling real estate. I can go back to, being head of coaching for a company, whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
What's the worst case? And for anyone out there, I think this applies to life as well. What's the worst case scenario? And we get hung up we create stories in our mind about what if, right? Well, what could happen? And the key to overcoming fear is evaluating the worst case scenarios and then realizing that probably none of them will ever come true. And when we look back in our life, our greatest growth moments came in the most fearful moments.
Absolutely.
So when we lean into fear, we lean into growth.
Yep.
So it's, those 2 months of no paychecks was
a little bit.
Yeah. You lay late at night and 3 a.m., the eyes open, you're like, okay.
But it's also exciting.
It's very exciting.
Because you're pioneering. You're on new ground.
New ground.
And there's nothing like creativity that happens in those moments. Because when you are in that position, when we started this office right here, my partner, Susan and I, it's amazing. If somebody would have told me if I would have been told what I was going to go through to get to where we are on like a piece of paper, I'd be like, nah, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
I'm not into it. I'm not going to do this. But the fact that you don't know what you're going to have to put up with or what you're going to do, is it worth it now? Absolutely. But the growth moments were so amazing.
It's so amazing.
If you look at the book, 10 times is better than 2 times.
That's right.
That book, great book. And it's true. We took a company from nothing, which was this company here, started scratch. And we became number 2 in the marketplace in a 5-year period. So, and not to pat on our backs, but we didn't know we were going to get there. We didn't know how to get there.
Correct.
But we were creating. We had faith. We created, and we went, okay, we can do this.
That's right.
So that's what you're going to do, and that's what you're doing now.
Exactly. And I think you have to have that belief that even though you don't know the exact path, the path is going to emerge as you take a step. And take a step. And I think that's a key thing for anyone that's starting a business or in a business.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Have your vision of the future, but then realize the real power is in the moment.
Absolutely.
And the real power is, what is this small step that I'm going to take today?
Or what are you doing tomorrow?
Exactly.
What are you doing tomorrow?
This show is a great example, right? How easily could I could have said, hey, let's do this virtually. But no, for me, I don't know where this may bring me, Brad, but I do know that I'm going to take an opportunity to meet you as a person, be on your podcast live. And this was a great example of knowing, I just know I need to take a step today. Yeah. And this is a great example of it.
Very cool. And it's funny. I was going to let you go.
I know you were.
I was actually, it's interesting when he texted me this morning, is this virtual or not? I was going to let you go.
Yeah.
I was going to go. And my first inclination was, all right, it's no problem. We'll just stream. We'll just stream. It's fine. Yeah. And a lot of people do. We do. We just don't. It's just not as good.
Exactly.
It's not as good as this right here. And I didn't let you go. I left it open a little bit. I gave you an opportunity, but then you came back and said, "Yeah, I'll make this work. I'm in. I'm going to make this work," which is really cool. It's funny how we keep each other in check.
Well, I think you got to go back into this world of like action creates results, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, the difference for me was I drove an hour and 20 minutes or so to
and we
get
appreciate
here.
that.
What I did is I just made a list of all the people I'm going to call in that car ride.
Yeah.
So rather than look at it as a negative, I just
probably got a lot done.
Great. Yeah. All these phone
done.
calls I've been procrastinating on, I knocked them all out. And
Good.
So I think it's the kind of thing that we always look for the easy way when sometimes the reality is like a little bit of hurdles, so to speak.
Yeah.
How can we actually turn that hurdle and make it an asset? Right.
Absolutely.
So the hour and 20 minutes in the car was a huge asset for me.
That's really cool. And we'll have to mention his program, what you're doing there, your coaching thing. We'll have to bring that up on here just because you made the ride. We'll do some pushing for you out there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me about this 6 a.m.er thing. That's an early time to be getting together, do brainstorming or masterminding.
Yeah. Well, so I'll give you the original story.
Yeah.
It began actually in the 5 a.m.ers, which was
that one there. You can just take me off the list. I am not doing it. Although it's before kids get up.
It is before kids get up. So that's the
bonus.
Yeah. That was the bonus. So that was years ago. So 2017, one of my best friends, Jake Dreyfus, we actually at the time were at Keller Williams together. I was a founding partner.
I remember this whole thing.
KW Philly. And I was going through a divorce. So Jake just started waking me up he's like, hey, I was in a bad space.
Yeah. Got it.
Overweight. Yeah. Bad, depressed, it was an amicable divorce, and I have a beautiful divorce now.
Yeah,
great co-parent and everything
awesome.
like that. But in the moment, it was a big transition.
Sure.
So he just started waking me up at 5 a.m. and I'd wake up and I'd text him my alarm clock, right? And it just started with the two of us waking up early, and then we were like, you know what? I wonder if anyone else wants to do this.
Oh, that's great.
Kicked it
like
out.
A little support group in a way, right? I mean,
community.
Yeah,
it's community. It's it.
Wow.
And then it just slowly each month grew and grew and grew.
But what were the topics? Was it always business?
No, actually, the irony is at 5 a.m., the last thing you want to talk about is real estate.
Right. Well, yeah.
You don't want to talk about real estate. You want to talk about life and struggles and wins and health and all the good stuff that make us happy, right?
More of a gratitude time.
It's so much more powerful to have those conversations when things are quiet. If you try to do that at 1 o'clock in the afternoon when you have,
too many interruptions.
Yep. So we would get together on Tuesday, Thursday mornings. Make a long story short, Jake moved to Colorado. I moved to Compass. We did maintain it for a couple months after that, but then it sort of faded. So then I don't know if you remember March of 2020, there's this little thing called COVID.
Let me think. Yeah. Can I look it up?
Yeah. Google
I'll just Google it. Do you remember that a year ago? Something. COVID? Is it vid? COVID?
Yeah. VID.
Oh, man.
So
talk about a break in our lives.
Yeah. Anyways, you remember, all got shut down and we were at home and happy hours and, virtual.
Yeah,
too much. So I got into this mode where I was sort of going back to that time when I was divorced, like a lot of fear, right? A lot of unknown and a lot of frustration with myself in some ways. Like, all right, like this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, can I curse on here?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. This is bullshit.
Yeah, there you can say bullshit. Yeah, just don't say the F word.
Okay,
that's all. We try to stay away from that because my kids listen to us sometimes. It's all right. But you're fine with bullshit.
Okay,
totally. Yeah.
Anyways, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I am a grown human being and I can't control what's happening outside my door.
Yeah.
I can control what's happening inside. I can still go for a run. I can still eat healthy. I can still not drink, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
They Zoom happy hours.
Oh my God. Remember those? It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, so the reality is I was like frustrated. So I said, all right, April, I'm starting the 6 a.m.ers because it's COVID. So we'll sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason to get up early.
Exactly. The nice thing with 6 a.m., it's early enough that it's a push for most people, but it's not 5 a.m., which is almost 5 a.m. is very difficult for most people.
Because you're getting up to do a 5 a.m. or thing. You're getting up at 4:30.
4:30,
to function.
Early.
Yeah.
So 6 a.m. was a great avenue. And basically every month I would open it up for people to join. It started in Philadelphia and to make a long story short, it just grew and grew and grew. And when I left Compass, it's still at Compass because, it's intellectual property accredited it there. It's their program. And it was about 6,000 Compass agents had participated in at least 1 month.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And that was a community, a definite word of mouth community. Because I'm telling you, Susan brought it. I remember it coming around Keller Williams. It was the 5 a.m.ers at that. Yeah. So, Keller Williams is always trying to get one up on everybody, so they get up earlier.
That's great.
Sorry, I had to. I had to go there. I mean, come on. So what is funny is that you last place you were was Compass,
correct?
But you were Keller Williams.
Yep.
And I have to tell you, now you're not with any of those right now.
Correct.
You're completely independent.
Yeah.
So that means you can help anybody, no matter what the franchise. If it's an independent, actually, it doesn't have to be real estate. You can help anybody.
Yeah.
So that's the cool part.
I did that by design, mainly. I sort of had that burn the boat mentality. I originally, the fear, I was debating selling real estate and doing the coaching company. But at the end of the day, any minute I spent selling real estate was a minute I wasn't investing in my dream.
Love it.
And I knew if I go all in on this, that I'm going to make it successful. So and the other thing in real estate, it's sort of like high school. Like there's always that little bias that, you're a Compass agent or you're a KW or you're an EXP or you're.
Oh, absolutely.
So I really wanted to create a world where no one would come up with a reason that they wouldn't want to work with me.
Gotcha.
And I still have my database, my referrals going and everything like that. So at the end of the day, I made that decision to just become a referral agent on the real estate side. If I ever needed to, I can go back to it. But I'm all in on this coaching company and on helping people. So
that is so cool. And that takes a lot.
Yeah.
That takes a lot. I mean, to pivot to a totally different direction, because we tend to be creatures of comfort. Totally. We like comfort, and so when you go outside that box, it's a little scary.
Yeah. Very scary.
Yeah. Well, you're doing it, man.
Thanks.
Yes. Any books in the plans?
So I started writing a book about teams. It was called,
and I didn't know this, by the way. I'm just off the cuff.
Yeah. So, and it was one of those things. I actually started it about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And then obviously life, business, working for Compass, I started traveling around the country. But it's still in the manuscript phase of writing it, because I don't believe there's a lot of good literature out there around running a real estate team.
Gotcha.
And
I think you're right.
That's on its way. So that'll be that. I had to deprioritize it in the short term, but that'll get up on the priority list.
That's good. And I think you're going to probably come up with other things as you're doing your coaching.
Yeah.
You're going to come up with other topics that you're going to go, man, this is something that needs to be out there.
Correct.
Definitely needs to be out there.
For sure.
So thanks so much for coming on the show. Believe it or not, we talked for 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Yes, we did. So we're going to have you come back as you keep going on with your dream here, which will be awesome. We're going to have you come back, because I think this is great stuff.
Love it.
Yeah, it's very cool. So thanks a lot for coming on. Where can we find you?
Good. Withheartcoaching.com, easiest spot.
Best place. And you still have your SkyeMichaels.com.
Correct.
Are you updating that?
SkyeMichaels.com is my website, and Instagram is probably the other nice place to find me, and it's at Skye Michaels on Instagram.
And Michaels is spelled a little different, so make sure
it's actually SkyeMichiels.
There you go. It's spelled a little different, but that's good. I found you.
Awesome.
All you got to do is put in Skye Michaels. You'll find him.
Great.
It'll come up. All right. Thanks so much. There we go. Wow. So much information in a very short period of time. You got to check him out. Skye Michaels, you heard that. He's a coach for business, for real estate, for any kind of business. And he's really lighting it up. It's going to be great. I'm anxious to watch his career keep moving forward. That's about it. Thanks for seeing us here at Thursdays at 7 p.m. We're on Facebook, Instagram, pretty much anywhere you want to find us, you'll find us. Just look up The Brad Weisman Show. Thank you. Are you tired of looking at your car covered in road salt and winter grime, or not quite getting the results you would like to see from the car wash? Well, I've got just the solution for you. The Detail Shop, your go-to destination for premium auto detailing.